The Salt Lake City Housewives, season 6, episode I forgot. Unicorn Overboard. So we open this episode. It's the next morning after the whole zombie night mess of a dinner. Some of the girls are doing yoga. Well, we'll say all the girls are doing yoga except for Lisa and Meredith, who are still kind of laid back in bed, talking amongst each other. And it's pretty much while they're doing yoga, trying to assess Brittany to see if she's doing okay. Meredith and Lisa is over there saying how much of an airhead Brittany is, comparing her to a Disney princess with no brain. And of course, Lisa with no brain could not figure out who was the character from Wizard of Oz with the no brain. She's gonna talk about the Tin Man. Listen, Lisa, listen. The Tin Man was looking for a heart, okay? Tin Man was looking for a heart. It was the Scarecrow who lost his brain, okay? But anywho, while they're doing all that, talking about Meredith or Brittany, Meredith does add into this conversation that, you know what, not only, I'm always going to be upset with Brittany, but it's Whitney that I'm really side eyeing because, girl, you just let this girl come at me with these rumors and you ain't even try to defend me or stop it or nothing. And on the other side of that, Brittany is just feeling like, oh my God, like this was a pile on. I got so many emotions coming at me. Like this is just a lot. Like she doesn't really know how to feel necessarily. Okay, so Bronwyn and Meredith decide to have a little fun here on behalf of Brittany. It was Bronwyn who kind of started the whole mess. Here she goes starting more mess, talking about some I stole the unicorn that Jared gave Brittany when you push the button and say I love you or something. Good night. Um, yeah, they decided to put on the blow up dolls. One was a baby shark, the other one was a lobster. And they proceed to go outside to the deck and chuck Mr. The unicorn, out into the ocean, thinking that it will be gone forever. So we go to breakfast, and in good old fashion, we will listen. We pretty much get straight to it. Like everybody, okay? Brittany, Meredith. Meredith, I'm okay or whatever, but I just can't deal with the hatred around me. And of course, she's sitting right next to Brittany, which was just funny how they just had them sitting there. Maybe it was just a coincidence. But she's like, oh my God, come on, for real? Are we going to go there again? And Meredith's like, girl, be quiet. Ain't nobody talking to you. I'm talking to Whitney. And she's trying to say how, right, like Whitney, you knew all of what Brittany had stored in her ammo. You knew she was gonna come at me with this ahead of time, so you could have stopped it. You could have said something. And of course, Brittany's like, well, I mean, not Brittany. Whitney's like, well, her end, like, listen, I knew about it and everything, but it wasn't for me. Like, it's like, it's not her to tell. She's the one that brought it up. I'm just looking and watching and whatever she got to tell me. Is you just wanted me to go bring it to you? No. I gave her the chance to come and bring it to you. If not, then I would have proceeded, according to. But of course, Brittany and Meredith, in the midst of her trying to explain herself, is going back and forth, back and forth. And Meredith is always calling her some type of name, like you a pea brain, you're dumb, just be quiet. Like, so Meredith does move away because, like I said, they were sitting right next to each other arguing. And she proceeds to tell everybody, like, well, if y'all want to be on Brittany's side with this, then y'all can go over there with her, and I'm going to be done with everybody. And here go Heather trying to make everything better because we got to be a group. We got to be cool. We can't let nobody infiltrate what we got going on. We got to support each other in the friendships and da, 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 da. So of course she got to say, for real? Me? Are you serious, Meredith? And of course Meredith's serious. So, we ended up landing on shore, anchoring, packing up all our things, getting ready to leave. And as soon as they was about to like step right foot off the dang dock, right off the boat, right, here come one of the little waiter servant girls from the crew. Oh no, somebody forgot this. Hold on here. She don't rescue the the unicorn out the ocean to give to Brittany. And of course Brittany don't even forgot that she had it. Talking about some, oh my God, give that to me. That's mine. Da-da-da-da-da. And she grabs it and she holding it. She's like, why is he all wet? Like, what the heck? Where was he? And of course, you know, who did this? Who did this? And Heather like, what, me? Whitney like, what, me? Of course, the last one standing is Bronwyn and Meredith, which they didn't have to say nothing. They could have all just been like, bitch, I don't know, like, that's your stuff. Bronwyn comes clean and say, okay, it was a joke. So, it was me and Meredith kind of threw it off or whatever. And of course, Brittany's like, she's already feeling all down and defeated from the Meredith attack. So this was like, oh my God, like for real, they just can't let it go. So she walks off and, it's time to get on the plane. And Bronwyn, she took her own flight there because remember she came a little bit late. So she had her own ticket, which prompted her to buy her own ticket home. So, she did her own thing. But she missed a very interesting event, okay? Something that was not filmed. Only I wouldn't say hearsay, but we only have details from people who were there, who were in earshot of what was said and visual nearness to see what was going on. But Meredith done got on this plane and proceeded to berate and I wouldn't say attack Brittany, but they want to use such words as attack and things like that. But I'm gonna say she kind of was what I say, berated. Yeah, just talking mess. Okay, she proceeded to just talk mess about Brittany, and it was just a whole thing. So the rest of this episode is everybody trying to figure out exactly what happened on the plane and why did it happen. Okay. Well, we kind of know why it happened. It was because for some reason Meredith was reliving all the things that Brittany had said and brought up about the rumors of Seth and all, the rumors and the nastiness. And it set her off. Okay. So in this set off, she's just talking to Lisa. I guess Lisa is the one sitting next to her. They did put up the plane seat so that we can see. They were like what, 2 sets was here and 2 sets was here. So we were like kind of adjacent, diagonal, like, of how disgusted she was with Brittany and all the things that she does and do or whatever. Over this, I think it was like a 4-hour plane ride or so. Wine was spilled, maybe a little hair pulling, a little tug on the wig, and just words that were not kind. So we have Mary and Bronwyn first, because like I said, Bronwyn wasn't on the airplane, so Mary is the one that have to break down what happened to her. And we got Whitney telling her husband what happened, and then we got Lisa talking to John about what happened. Now, when it comes to Lisa in particular, she's telling John, "Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't say nothing. I just ain't never seen Meredith like this though." Heather is Brittany's friend, I think, which you kind of would never even thought. but she's the one that actually brought her into the group. So she's the one to pull her to the side, to go out for lunch a little bit. And Brittany looks like, I wrote down she looks higher than a damn bird in the sky. Like she must have took something before she came and sat with Meredith, or she was just either bawling her eyes out, or maybe it was just her look. I don't know for that day, but she just really looked defeated. Okay, but I'd say her eyes do got that little slanty thing kind of going on. But anyway, Heather want to make sure she's doing all right. Obviously, she's, like, oh my God, that was so traumatic. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Feel like I got hit by a truck. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I can't believe the hair pulling, the seat shaking. Like, and then I guess at some point she kept asking for the phone. Like, I need the phone, somebody's phone, Whitney's phone, Brittany's phone. Show me the evidence. Show me the proof. There's no proof. Like, whatever was setting her off. And all Brittany could do was just cry. Cry, cry, cry. And Brittany was a little, I guess, well, yeah, she was upset that Lisa, sitting there listening with Meredith, you know, as much as Brittany has stood up for Lisa on her behalf when she wasn't around and things like that, when the ladies were talking about her, why didn't Lisa stand up to help me? Like, she just let Meredith continue, and she even engaged in the kicking and, rumblings of my seat. And I'm just like, why would she do that? And of course, Heather is in agreement because she's like, yeah, Lisa, I'm trying to tell Lisa that she's not being a good friend. She's not listening. And, Meredith pretty much just took it too far at this point. Like, they just going too far. So enough about that Meredith stuff. Now this conversation got a little bit interesting right here because Bronwyn, she's the newbie here. This is her second season, right? Second season? Okay. First season, we was liking her. It was her doing some of the lies, that she probably shouldn't have did, that she didn't, so you don't have to. What was you trying to prove, with the necklace thing and all that type stuff? Like, honestly. But the talks of Todd and their relationship and all these type things. But it's I think it's the way Bronwyn explains things that make it more complicated than it has to be. Okay. Her and Brittany go talk, and they're talking about obviously the flight and what happened. They're thinking, maybe a little bit, some pills and alcohol mixed up was just a little bit too much. There was no video. While I think, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Whitney said Meredith was trying to get all up in her phone and all this type stuff. And she's like, yeah, it was just too much going on. But, Brown was like, well, I missed all of that. But on my end, I'm going home and do what I'm doing, but I'm checking phones and whatever. And I see this Twitter blog stuff about Todd possibly cheating on me. Some fan or whatever saw him on the flight and just was watching his phone and seeing that it was a girl on the phone. So to be like, nigga, what the? Now, what type of person? I throw that shit in the trash. I probably wouldn't even print such a thing, but people got to make $1, so anything will work. But for me, really, so if he was literally watching porn or something, is that a crime? Like, oh my God, was he strolling on Facebook? Like, where's the contents of what this said photo or what it was that he was looking at? But whatever it was a female, and that just means he was cheating on Bronwyn. So, of course, Bronwyn was mad about it and had to do what she had to do at home, was make him sleep on the couch or some shit she said. But pretty much she's like, okay, well, Whitney, I feel like we can connect here a little bit. I'm opening up to you now, okay? Because now she opening up. Brittany is a little bit more free spirited versus some of the other ladies. The way she got Justin, was a little bit controversial, secretary, turned into a lover, turned into the mistress, turned into the wife type thing going on, right? Um, Young, full of life, and Justin is the older man. Same with Bronwyn, we're young, little supple, right? Older man, but I like to have fun, like doing them. So when it comes to outsiders in the relationship, it can happen as long as we are in agreement with said things, okay? And what said persons will want in their satisfaction, so to speak, okay? So this was interesting to me because I'm like, oh, okay, because it can either go two ways, which is the good route where okay, we opening up, we got all the information, and more fun with Bronwyn and things like that. Two, which is gonna go, I think, is Ty gonna be like, what the hell? Why would you tell people this? It's nobody's business. Can you keep stuff to ourselves? This and this and that, like, So I feel like she's trying to say this just to have some compliance with, Whitney here. But I just know it's going to backfire at some point. And just from the previews, whatever conversation they had, it looked like it was probably pertaining to this. And he was not happy, as I'm sure I probably wouldn't be either if I don't want everybody to know all my business. Like, this ain't no Ashley Darby and Michael situation. You know what I'm saying? Because she was just trying to let everybody know everything. But Whitney, like, okay, I get you, okay, because me and Justin obviously have agreements with some things as well, okay? So cheating, when was he cheating, was he not? Technically, like I said, probably was not. I don't think so. But if he wanted to, man, we just gotta talk about it first. Angie girl, Electra don't get no look. She don't care about no grease. They have a little conversation, mommy daughter thing, but yeah, she like mama. Too much Greek stuff going on. I get it, but I just want to go be with my friends and ride my horses, and I can learn about Zeus and them later. Okay, so Heather decides it's time to talk to Lisa. Okay, because she can get to Lisa. Maybe Lisa can uh, try to help make this better between Meredith and Brittany, okay? Since she is Meredith's friend. Um, she goes to this restaurant and, in good old Lisa fashion, she's a bit late here. I wouldn't say, is she always late? I never actually really noticed. Like, look, but I noticed Drew every time Drew Sator ass be late, be girl. That's why you was locked out of that day. Like, this ain't this, this ain't that. I don't say waiting on Lisa was almost an hour, wasn't it? She got there about 11:10 because I wrote it down 11:10, 11:35 rolled around. Ooh, 11:57, 12:14. Ooh, man, I think my first drink would definitely been gone. Appetizers probably would have been 8 by then. 12:26. Ooh, hey girl, how you doing? What's going on? And of course, bitch, the day has went and gone. Lisa don't care. She moved on to the next thing. That's how she operates, which is cool. Like she said, she got to keep her peace, okay? And of course, Heather want her to take all the accountability and responsibility on her part when it comes to the whole plane ride from hell. And if you know what I'm talking about, kudos to you. Because that's why this is what the episode should have been called, the plane ride from hell. But that WWF and that whole thing with Ric Flair and a couple other guys on an overseas trip. But you got to look it up yourself. Lisa don't want to take no blame for none of this because it wasn't her. It was Meredith. Meredith was talking to me. Heather's like, yeah, she was, but you was helping her, what was up with the seats shaking? What was up with the wine spilling? Like, why didn't you stop her? Um, why were you engaging in it? Why did you hype it up? And Lisa's like, girl, nothing is on me. I didn't do it. That was all Meredith. Brittany shouldn't have did what she did. And to provoke Meredith and all this stuff. Heather, you barely even saw nothing. You was asleep because Heather did say she was asleep for a lot of it, so she really didn't get a lot. She didn't get all of what she thought she got. And Lisa's just like, no, 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 y'all not gonna do this. Y'all not gonna put nothing on me. I didn't do nothing. It's not me. It's not me. And of course, Heather is just looking at her like trying to break down this wall that's never gonna be broken. Trying to say, well, I'm your friend and I'm trying to come at you as a friend to try to get you to realize that this is what's happening and I need you, to wake up and acknowledge. And Lisa's like, girl, obviously I do acknowledge whatever happened, but like I said, it wasn't me and I didn't do it. But bottom line, she can't control Meredith, and she does feel bad for Brittany. She is a friend of Brittany's, but it is what it is. It's not her fight. So this conversation pretty much got nowhere, okay? And we end the episode with Miss Meredith herself, okay? Because this is all about you. So what happened, okay? Mary, she's meeting Mary. They had their little ups and downs to their relationship, but they've always still remained cool, cordial, decent, right? Of course, Mary putting on her preacher hat here, lady of reason. What happened, girl? Because you was tripping, okay? I saw, the rage of Carrie come out of you, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't cool. Sophisticated ladies, right? We supposed to be up her, and you was down in the gutter throwing tomatoes, child. And ooh, what was going on, child? What was happening? I was a bit worried. I was a bit worried. I was a little scared. Like, what was this? And Meredith, smooth operator, no sweat off her shoulder. She like, girl, I was just venting to my friend Lisa. Everything I said, I already done said to Brittany. So listen, if it was crazy and so obnoxious and all this stuff as y'all claim it was, TSA and them, the Popo, when I got off the plane, they would have been here to pick me up. But nobody was here. So where y'all getting at? Like, I was a little bit upset, yes. I said some words, yes. But that's just the bottom line to it. And of course, Mary's just kind of talking to her with concern because she like, girl, for 4 hours though. And Meredith is like, girl, it was not that long. It was more like 15 minutes of whatever was said. Like, girl, it wasn't even like that. And Mary like, well, what I saw, it was, girl, are you sure? Like, and then you forgetting now. So that's why I'm extra concerned because your brain, you got amnesia, is dementia setting in. And Meredith, like I said, cool. She got her lawyer hat on because I do not recall. I don't recollect. She using them words like, don't know what you talk about. But Mary's just trying to tell her like, okay, well, if this is how you want to be, all I'm saying is I just need you to take accountability for whatever this was, okay? And just try to make it a little bit right, obviously, because Brittany is the one that's hurt here. And I don't like you looking like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want Meredith in it, and like image wise. Like, I don't want you to be out here like this. And of course, Meredith is trying to tell her, like, please, please listen. Don't try to spin this into something all big and blow it up because it's really ain't nothing. But, um, she's trying to say, like, was this in her confessional? Like, yeah, because I don't know what they saw and what they heard. I know what I did. Maybe Whitney or somebody is throwing a little extra spice on it because some people was sleeping. Some people, they had their headphones on. So how would they even really know what was going on? They really wasn't paying all the way attention. That's how she trying to spin it. So basically, Mary's like, listen, apologize to Miss Brittany and we can move forward, okay? And of course, Meredith, like, we'll see. We'll see about that. I was like, apology. We'll see. But that was an episode. Like I said, this was really all about whatever mystery plane ride. Meredith breakdown that nobody took their phone out to film, to show. Not a piece of footage. Not even a microphone drop. Ugh. Just so disappointed. Well, obviously they wouldn't have their mics hooked up in the air, but usually they have a camera roll. But either way, maybe at some point, maybe the reunion, I don't know, usually somebody get a little slick and we might could find something, but we'll see how the rest of the season go. Like I said, this episode wasn't too much, just a little bit. But let's get more into this Bronwyn trying to open up more and about to mess up her life. Let's see, about to mess up her life getting to divorce. And John, ooh, dropping them balls, baby. Tell Lisa, listen, put them foot down on her ass. Like I know something. Let me stop. Let me go. Bye.